Okay. Good morning. I'm Andy, in case some of you don't know. Right, the younger son. It's really great to see you all here and celebrate Mom's life. And over the course of the day, share a little bit of what made her so special to each other. Right up front, I want to say how happy I am to see Rose and Sherna here. I know Lasandra will be here later, but I wanted to thank you guys, like, real up front for all the love and care that you gave my mom over the last year plus of her life. And you know, Bill and I can never thank you enough, and of course my mom could never thank you. So, so I sat down to write this, and it was funny to me that, you know, Mom could get everything just so. Everything was perfect, right?
Yes.
And know exactly where things went and how and when, and I couldn't even gather my thoughts to write down a proper eulogy that would even remotely sufficiently honor who she was or what she meant to me. I don't know what to think or how to process my mom's passing away. In my head, this is like a giant mess, and a mess is not something Mom knows. Right? Right? She'd be counting right now, putting things in order. But you know, she's the only one that could bring any order in my head and my heart right now, and you know, I just don't know what I'm going to do without her. But so in writing this, I resigned myself that it's not going to be perfect, and as much as my mom strove for perfection in her own life in every way, she'd be very happy with the fact that I'm not letting that get in the way of sharing a few things with you, however imperfectly. I'm not the only one speaking today, and I know that all of you will pick up where I left off, or drop the ball, and we'll end up with a big, beautiful picture of my little, beautiful mom. So, here's a few things I know and love about my mom. She loved to laugh. And if you notice on the little booklet that we made, almost all the photos of her laughing in one way or another, big smiles. She had a great sense of humor, and she found the funny in so many things around her. As a kid, to us, she read us funny books, she recited funny poems, and she wrote funny poems. She wrote them to us in birthday cards and on notes that she'd sometimes leave me before school. And I'm guessing that a lot of you here have gotten cards from my mom or little notes that also had these little witty bitties on them. On one occasion, when I don't think she could really help herself, I had an assignment to write a poem for school. And then she started out kind of trying to help me with it, but she wrote that poem. And then gave it to me to hand in as my own. And it was spectacular. It was great. It was rhyming couplets, and it had a narrative with a beginning and a middle and an end. I mean, it was just like 5th grade, folks. There was no way. And it was funny. It was clearly not the work of this mediocre student, you know, and my teacher asked me about it directly. It's like, oh, Andy, did you write this poem? And I said, I had a little help. You know, and my teacher laughed, and she put that poem up on her bulletin board. You know, she had that up, and she knew very well what this was all about. And I told my mom, and my mom laughed about that too. I think that they both loved the mischief of that. But my mom laughed about everything and with everyone. Family, friends, my teachers, the waiter at her favorite Italian restaurant, people she just met. It didn't matter. Mom was up for a laugh. So that's the first thing I know about my mom and that I loved. The second thing was that my mom was brave and incredibly capable. She lost her dad when she was just a kid. So what's more unfair than that? Well, I'll tell you. That honestly, she had a mom who was not as strong as my mom was, and who couldn't handle that so well, and she sent my mom away to boarding school to deal with that loss on her own, and I think that's pretty tough. But mom was mighty even then, and she excelled there in every way, which we sort of just found out by looking at her yearbooks recently. We didn't know any of that. And she went on to college, got her degree, and she met Aunt Joni. Anyway, she got married to my dad. She had 2 remarkable children. And 12 years later, she was smart and courageous enough to get out of what was fundamentally an unfulfilling marriage. She was undeterred, and I think most impressively, my mom kept an open heart, and she fell in love a couple more times over the years. I mean, maybe more, but you'd have to ask Aunt Joni. She didn't tell me everything. But as a single mom, she left New York and her community in Connecticut. She left Connecticut rather, and moved to New York. And later in her mid-40s, she went back to school, got her master's in social work. She spent the next 30 years or so helping people through some of the more desperate times of their lives. She advocated for them, she fought for them. She helped them understand themselves, and she got them the care that they needed. I'm gonna go with the fact that my mom was really pretty darn brave and resourceful and mighty. Over the years, my mom suffered more than her fair share of loss and disappointment. And there were people along the way that took advantage of her trust and her good nature. People who let her down when she needed support most. None of them are here. But I guess these were the experiences that made my mom such a beautifully complicated person. And as much as she carried deep sadness, she loved to laugh and to make other people laugh. And as great and overwhelming as my mom's fears could be, she faced them with courage and as much grace as she could muster. As little control over life's ups and downs as she may have felt, she brought order and beauty to her and everyone else's life. Some people go through life making everything seem easy. No one would accuse my mom of that. Mom was a bundle of contradictions, big and small. She was perfectly imperfect, I would call her. And she always made me feel like I was special. My mom belongs to me, and I belong to her. Period.
Oh.
That's it. Joni, you got a poem to read.
And some words to say if you'd like.
Before I read it, I just want to say that was wonderful. He took many words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
And I can tell you that these boys, they'll always be our boys, were the light of her life, always. And we kind of shared our children. Lenny loved mine dearly, and I love hers dearly. I'm Bill's godmother. Andy's wedding allowed Lenny and I to be roommates again for the first time in, I don't know, maybe 50 years. Matt, our son, asked Lenny to be in his wedding, and our daughter Lauren and Lenny email each other all the time. There was no other friend or friendship that I ever had that We were almost like sisters. We could have a spat just like sisters could, and it always went away. Sometimes we lived in different cities and in different countries. Sometimes we talked more or less. Nothing mattered. We knew always that we were there for each other. And if we didn't talk for a while, but there was something that needed discussing, we were there for each other. Lastly, I'm a little bit of a restrained person. She could get me to misbehave and laugh and carry on like nobody else could. And one of the best ones, you will not see it, was our version of You Gotta Have a Gimmick from the show Gypsy. We worked that out one crazy afternoon somewhere. She was my anchor, and I will miss her terribly. To laugh often and love much. To win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children. To earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. What is Success by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And that was Lin. Through every hardship, through every trial, you said it all, Lindy. She did it her way. And we are all extremely grateful for that, but especially you guys. She loved you so much. And I know things about you that you don't want me to know.
Oh, we know it.
And she used to say to me, we will always be friends because I know too much.
All right, Mary Ann, did you want to say a few words?
Well, Mom, firstly, she knows I
did?
don't, yes, she knows I don't like to speak in a crowd, and therefore I did not write anything. I'm gonna talk off the top of my head. Andy, you did really say everything.
Good.
Okay?
I thought I covered it.
One of the things about Linda was that she could write beautifully, like you said. I cannot, but she did use me when she needed to tone down some of the letters. And we toned down quite a few over the years so that she would get a response back. Another thing is that I always felt that Linda sold herself short because she was such a perfectionist. That she felt that she didn't do this right, she didn't do that, it could have been better. She could not have been more wrong because she taught everyone a whole lot. She taught me how to take care of my father when he was in the nursing home. She told me, this is what you gotta tell him he's allergic to, this way they won't give it to him. And he was well taken care of. She taught me how to do care management because I do work for the elderly, so she really helped out. And I think she really did a lot more and left more in an impact than she really thought she did. And that, I always told her, I said, you're wrong. I said, you don't know how much you have touched people. You just see the one little mistake that you made and you think, oh, that's all they're gonna remember me for. And that's not true. I remember her for that beautiful smile, like you said, because it lit up a room. And my father met her once. And he said, who's this? I said, this is Linda. and he says, "Oh, this is Muñequita Linda," which translated from the Spanish is pretty little doll. And that's what she'll always be to me, that pretty little doll with a big smile on her face who really loved everyone. You're welcome.
So I'm gonna make everybody maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but we're all here and everybody sort of knows each other, but I don't think we all know how we're all connected. So I thought maybe we would just take a couple minutes and, you know, introduce yourself, maybe tell us very briefly how you know my mom, and then I'll say what I want to say. How's that? So you want to start, Jaime?
Yeah, sure. I'm Jaime Barreto. I met Linda through my partner. We have been friends for many years. And when I came to Dance Live, so that's when I met Linda, which made a very nice impression the first time I saw her. We will miss her.
I'm Don Johannesson. I met Linda when she became one of the social workers on the inpatient geriatric psychiatry unit at Mount Sinai that I was running at the time, and I was way too young to have that job and made way too many people cry. And Linda was a real anchor and a teacher for me. And like I remember, you know, I said to my chief resident, "Who is this rich lady from the Hamptons coming in and trying to do this social work thing?" And boy, did I learn fast that she was the smartest cookie in the room. And we became lifelong friends. And Linda was a little bit of a New York mother to me. I grew up in Seattle, and you know, we all need a mother. And we shared a lot of fun and tales and dogs and cats and a great life. So she will be much missed.
And I'm Mary Ann Dolzadelli. I met Linda, I'd say about 22 years ago when she was hired to be care manager to the client that I worked for. And after that client passed away, she hired me because she went off into business on her own. She left Fine and Newcomb and had her own practice. So I worked for her also, and we were friends. It's over 22 years.
I'm Nancy Avatabali. I was a colleague and friend of Linda's. I met Linda as a result of being asked to be part of a supervision group. I was just starting my practice. I had worked for a big healthcare company, and someone had seen something I had written, and they knew I was starting out, and they said, "Oh, why don't you come be part of our group?" I felt like I was being, you know, asked to be part of a little sorority. So I get to this group, and there's Linda. And she terrified me. I was so intimidated. But, as our group went through many, and I will say, she helped me within 2 months with one of the most complicated cases I've had in 20 years, and I learned so much from Linda. I had the case for 2 months, I ended up quitting it. Linda walked me through everything, lessons that I have taken on for the last 20 years. Our group went through many, many iterations. Concluding, Haley joined. Linda invited Haley into the little group.
We met here every week.
And we spent every month for 5 years in this living room with Linda. And I just can't say enough. I was able to have a nice time with her last year at one of Don's concerts, and I'm really grateful that I did that. So anytime you have a friend who is in need or wants to do something, grab the opportunity, because anyway, so thank you.
I'm Liam Packard, that guy's son. So that's how I know Linda. She was always there when I was like growing up and encouraging like all the things that I like enjoy doing. Like you should really go and do these things that you can. Really try to support those things while I still have the chance to also. stayed here a couple times when I was smaller. It's kind of weird flashbacks. I never read like the titles of the books on the shelves, and now I see that there's a lot of books there. Yeah. Yeah. So she was just amazing.
All right, thank you.
I'm Jennifer Packer. I know a lot of you. I'm married to that guy, and this is my son. And I met Linda when I started dating Bill 30 years ago. So we've spent a lot of time. We're very fortunate to be nearby in Connecticut and New Jersey. And even though Liam only came to this apartment a couple of times, Linda came out to Connecticut a lot and New Jersey a lot, so we got to see her a great deal, which was wonderful.
Hi, I'm Ginger, and dating May, so that's why I'm here. And Linda was a lovely person, and I'm really happy I got to meet her.
My name is May Stark, and Linda was my aunt. Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off what Liam said. She was very encouraging, all my interests when I was growing up, and yeah, I'm just super grateful to have had her in my life.
Thank you, Matt. Beverly?
Yes, Beverly Herbert. And I met Linda through a case. She had a stuff case, and she wanted an aid, and we met on the corner here at 86th Street in a diner. And ever since then, we became good friends. Whenever she got sick, she called me up. I remember I had surgery, and Linda was there. She went to every doctor's appointment with me. The morning when I went to get the surgery, she was there. She was going to LA, and she never left me. And the surgery was prolonged because the doctor had some engagement. And at 6 o'clock, she said, "Bev, I have to go." And she called my brother to cut my things. And ever since then, we became good friends. I would cook for her. If she was short of an aid, she would call me, "Bev, you gotta come help me." And I would show up. And we had a lot of good laughs. She always wanted to know about my boyfriends. I remember like 3 weeks before she died, I came here with my new boyfriend. And we sat in the room and she looked at me. She said, "I'm dying." Because I brought, Rose was here when I came with some brown meds. She liked the brown meds with a cough. But she was fun. I remember she was sick in the hospital. And the Sunday morning she calls me up. I had just walked in the door from a party. She said, "Bev, you gotta come." I said, "Where are you?" She said, "I'm in the hospital." So I said, "Okay, give me an hour, I'll be there." I got up when I got there. And the nurses was mad with her and she was laughing. "Bev, I don't give a shit." And I stayed in the room 24 hours for like 3 days, and then she said, "You gotta go." And that was Linda.
No pressure, Jack.
I'm Jack Packer. I'm Grandma Lily's grandson, and we really didn't get to see her all too often, but she used to visit us yearly, and whenever she came over, she would insist that we go to Target, and she would get us anything we wanted, any one item, and it was always, because we always anticipate that, so whenever we heard Grandma Linny was coming over, we always knew what was coming.
Oh, okay. I'm the ex-sister-in-law. So I was married to Bruce, and but I now have acquired a stepdaughter or two, and May Stark is also my daughter, and thankfully Linda and I shared a life, so it was good.
Me again. Two things I didn't say before. One is that I spoke about our boys, but I didn't say anything about the grandchildren. And Linny talked about you all the time. She cared about you enormously. She wished that she could have been with you more. She wasn't great about getting places if they were not right maybe 10 blocks from here. And so sometimes I think that held her back. But you were always on her mind, and she was just part of your lives without being able to be there as much as she would have liked to. The same is true for Nessie and Julie, her nieces. She loved you guys dearly, dearly, and I know you had many good times together. Lastly, Leanie and I were friends for 60 years. I saw her a month or two ago, and she still remembered exactly what I was wearing the day that we both arrived at Connecticut College as freshmen. And because I was dressed, oh God, she remembered right down to the white gloves. I was the city girl. And she looked at me and said, she didn't actually say it, she's going to be my friend. And so it was for all those years. Lastly, I just gotta tell you, it was the millennium. Friend and I had a big party. Linnie arrived late because she had gone to see every one of her elderly patients before she came to the party. And she went to see them exactly as she arrived at my party, wearing the largest, most magnificent white wings you have ever seen, and a halo. And of course, she was the star of the ball, and we all just enjoyed her so very much. Two other things. To your family and to Don and Jaime, I want to say thank you, because you guys made a tremendous difference in her life over the last years. She loved you. And to that blonde lady over there, so remember that she laughed a lot, and she made all of us laugh a lot. But as Andy said, she was one brave lady who suffered more than was fair, but she never let it stop her or make her bitter. And it made me proud.
You stole all my lines.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, Linnie was part of our family, as you can tell. And you hear the love between Joan and her was endless. Between me and her was endless. Joan will get mad at me, but she had one thing I didn't like about her: behavior. Who can you guess what it is?
You had to say it.
Too neat? Too neat for you?
No, he wanted me to be neat. They were co-hosts.
No, it was her smoking. She would smoke and cough together. It used to drive me crazy. I didn't want to lose Linnie.
Yeah.
And our friends did love, we have a summer home in New Jersey. And Linnie would come down many, many weekends. And all of our friends would go by and say, how did you get this person to do all that flower picking and planting and trimming? She would be out in the sun with Joan, working away like crazy. She loved it. We said, where's Andy when we need him? So she was a dear, dear friend, a special person with a very good sense of humor and a acerbic tone when she wanted it. And we just miss her terribly.
My name is Rick. I'm now from Williamsburg, Virginia, but I met Linda more than 30 years ago through a mutual friend at Mount Sinai. Well, that friend has sort of drifted away. Nobody knows where she went. But Linda and I just maintained a friendship since then. Email, visiting. I'd come up from Virginia a couple times a year. I introduced her to my girlfriend at the time, about 21 years ago. She said, she's a keeper. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary, and unfortunately she couldn't be here, but she became more of a friend of my wife because I found out they were emailing separately and talking about me. But it was an incredible friendship. That you could talk to her anytime, you'd call her, and she'd stop what she was doing, or she'd call me and say, "How's it doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on?" I never could get her to Williamsburg, Virginia. I tried. I told her there were a lot of rich guys down there. Rich bachelors. The train station was three blocks from our house. I'll pick you up. We'll take care of that. But as you know, she probably wouldn't go south of 59th Street, let alone Virginia. So we'd come up here and visit. I miss her dearly.
I'm going to tell a story about this. We would invite her to come to Long Beach Island, and she would come often. One weekend we picked her up here. The car was full. We crammed her in, drove down. Jersey Turnpike, we got a flat tire. We had to unpack the whole car to get to the tire. She was,
And I knew what she was thinking. Why did I have to come this time? Do you want to say something?
Oh, wonderful.
So Linda was Miss Linda was our like friend, and she always had good times with us. She always made us laugh. She had good times with us, and now she's always in our hearts, and we'll always remember her when the times we had good times with her.
Hi, I'm Noah Packer, Linda's grandson, her third youngest, I guess. I don't know. And like Jack said, she'd always try to visit us every year for, maybe a week at the longest. And of course, we always looked forward to getting something from her, but I always remember her going out onto our deck to like smoke and just sit outside and and I'd always try to get her to come in from the smoke, and she'd always be like, "Just wait a second." But, so that was always funny to me. And then I always remember we'd go out to dinner. And I'd always want to sit next to her, and then Jack would always want to sit next to her, and we'd fight about it, not realizing that we could both just sit next to her. The table's not that small. And she would always just, she'd say that to us, like, you can both sit next to us, and I always thought those were some of the best times of the year, getting to see her, so. I'll miss her a lot.
I'm Haley Glazer. I'm a colleague and a friend of Linda's. I think we met in the early 90s or mid 90s. I was part of the Snooper Vision group that used to meet with a bunch of us, and we would discuss tough cases, and that's where I really got to know her. Last week, one of my colleagues sent me an email asking me to help her with a case, to advise her. And I said, "Oh, that's easy. Let's just call Linda. She'll know." And then it dawned on me, she's someone that contributed tremendously to the world of senior care. And she taught us all a lot. And I was honored when she asked me to be her care manager, which was scary. And it was rough. In the way she lived her life with perfection, she wanted to die with perfection. And she almost killed us all with her requirements. And these ladies did a phenomenal job. And I have to say, up until around September, she was the military general. She was organizing, knew every medication. I just sat there like a dummy. There's no way I could keep up with everything that she knew. And then, in September, we had a lot of conversations, and she was really ambivalent about dying. She wanted to die, but she didn't want to suffer. And then eventually, I think when the family came, Joan came and alerted the family that this is it. And then when they came, she was ready to say goodbye. So she is missed and will be missed.